Welcome friends, welcome to our YouTube channel Magnifying 10. Today we are going to learn about the chapter of geography, the continents of world, in which we will study about North America continent. Okay, so North America continent. Let's talk about the North America continent. What is North America continent? What is continent? Continents are the bigger landmass available on the earth or that is formed by the continental drift theory. So we will talk about the continents. So I have already discussed what is continent and details of the continents, how many continents are there in a separate video. That is a continent of world. And today we are going to learn about the North America continent. So let's see about the area-wise continents. Area-wise continents. So as we know that there are 7 continents in the world, and according to area and the area wise they are listed here. The bigger on the or we can say that the largest continent on the earth is Asia. The second comes Africa, the third one is North America, fourth one South America, fifth one Antarctica, and the sixth one Europe, and the last one is the Australia, or also known as Oceania. So here is the look. Here we can see the picture in the map, and we can identify it as a and we can identify. So here is the first one is Asia continent. The next one is Africa continent. The third one is North America. Fourth one South America. Fifth one Antarctica. Sixth Europe, and the seventh one is Australia or Oceania. So here is the map, and we can go through. So let's erase it, this all these things. So next is population wise continents. So according to population, Asia comes first, second Africa, third Europe, fourth North America, fifth South America, sixth Australia or Oceania, or the seventh is Antarctica with zero population. Only scientific researches are conducted there, so no population found there, no habitats. Although there are some of the scientists always present there and who conduct some kinds of the researches on the Antarctica. So, but there is a no habitual activity are performed on Antarctica. So that's why we can say there is a zero population. Okay, the next one is location of North America. So where is the North America located? As we know that North America continent is the third largest continent by area and the fourth largest continent by population, by sharing 16.5% area of the world land available on the world or the earth, and the fourth largest by population, sharing 7.6% population of the world. Discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1492 AD. Here is the picture of Christopher Columbus, and he was a Italian explorer and navigator. He is an Italian navigator and explorer. Okay, and who completed 4 voyages across the Atlantic Ocean. ये 4 बार पूरा अटलांटिक ओशन के चारों तरफ घूम चुके हैं. स्पॉन्सर्ड बाय कैथोलिक मोनार्क्स ऑफ स्पेन, opening the ways for the widespread European exploration and the colonization of the Americas. उन्होंने अटलांटिक ओशन का घूमा चारों तरफ, उन्होंने एक वेब फाइंड किया एक ताकि अमेरिका पे कॉलोनाइज किया जा सके उसको. नेम्ड आफ्टर द अमेरिको वेस्पूसी एंड Vespucci also pronunciation is different in different books and also there. So we can consider it Americo Vespucci or Vespucci also. So pronounce it accordingly. The dictionary Amerigo Vespucci was an Italian merchant, explorer, and navigator from the Republic of Florence, from whose name the term America is derived. Amerigo Vespucci के नाम पे ही अमेरिका का नाम रखा गया. And the triangle shaped continent है, located in northwestern hemisphere. We will discuss it later in the next slide. That what is northern hemisphere, what is western hemisphere, latitude, longitude, and what are the these kind of the things are. What is this? Okay, so if we talk about the latitude, so If you talk about the latitude, the extension of the North America continent, 7 degree northern latitude to 85 degree northern latitude. And as we know that is extension is only northern hemisphere, so it entirely belongs to northern hemisphere. Latitude, if we talk about the latitude, then the extension of Northern America continent is 20 degree western hemisphere to western longitude to 179 degree western longitude. Okay, so let's talk about the let's discuss what is longitude, latitude, what is hemisphere, and all these things. Okay, so first of all, let me erase this, and now we'll discuss. So first of all, we have to understand the earth shape is spherical. Okay, and it can be further divided into, it can be divided or imaginary divide into two categories. The first one is vertical and the second one is horizontally. So if we cut earth, if we cut earth horizontally, then it will be divided into two hemisphere. The first one is called eastern hemisphere. The first one is called eastern hemisphere, and the next one is called western hemisphere. Okay, so who is eastern and what is, this is the eastern hemisphere and this is western hemisphere. And if we cut it in what horizontally, then it will be divided into two hemisphere also. That is one, another, first one is northern hemisphere and the second one is southern hemisphere. So if we cut the globe equally in two parts, then horizontally, then it is known as the, in this imaginary line is known as equator, and this one is known as international date line or international meridian line, or the GMT, Greenwich Mean Line also it is not named. We will discuss it later. We had already discussed it in video in which we have learned about the world heritage of geography, language, longitude, latitude, and all these things. So you can go through that video. I will provide a link in description and you can go through. So next, see, how many countries are there? Approximately 38 countries are there as per UN, United Nations, and there are so many areas are there, or the, we can say, land masses are there which claims that they are independent. So if you talk about the major countries, so there are some major countries. Okay, the first one is Canada, next one is USA, the third one is Mexico, thereafter comes Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, and thereafter comes Cuba, Haiti, Bahamas, Dominica, Jamaica, and West Indies also, and several countries are there. So these are the major countries belongs to North America continent, and they are, if we talk about the major countries, that there are three major countries which shares approximately 80 to 90% of the areas of North America continent, and they are as follow: Canada, USA, Mexico, and thereafter these Caribbean islands or Caribbean countries. Okay, so next one we see North America is a continent entirely within the northern hemisphere. As we see, this extension is from northern latitude to northern latitude. That's why it is entirely in northern hemisphere and almost within the western hemisphere. It can also be considered a northern subcontinent of the America. So how can we consider it northern continents? So if we see, this is the equator, 0 degree, and thereafter comes, here it is 0 degree, or that is called GMT or international dateline. Sorry, international dateline. This is called international dateline, and this is prime meridian. So okay, so it has been cut. It has been divided into two hemispheres. So here, this is the western hemisphere. Sorry, this is, okay. So it has been divided into two hemisphere. So here it is the western hemisphere. Here it is western hemisphere, and if we divide into horizontally, then it is northern hemisphere. So we can say that North America continent entirely lies into northern hemisphere and western hemisphere. Okay, so let's see. Next, so we had already discussed about the countries, and here it is hemisphere. It can be also considered in the northern subcontinent of the Americas, and it is bordered to the north by Arctic Ocean, to the east by the Atlantic Ocean, and to the west and south by the Pacific Ocean, and the southeast by South America and the Caribbean Sea. Let's see what is saying. It is saying here it is Arctic Circle. This is called Arctic Circle, and it is Arctic Ocean. Here is Atlantic Ocean. Here is Pacific Ocean, and here is Caribbean Sea. Caribbean Sea. So we can see that entirely west to south, North America has been surrounded by Pacific Ocean, or we can say Prashant Mahasagar. In north, it has been surrounded. It has been surrounded by Atlantic Ocean, and in the east it has been surrounded by Atlantic Ocean, and the southeast, here is the South America continent. Here is the South America continent. So we can say the area. We can say if I ask to you that please tell this location and the surroundings of North America continent, so you should answer that in the west Pacific Ocean, in the north Atlantic Arctic Ocean, in the east Atlantic Ocean, in the south Pacific Ocean, and in the southeast South America continent. Okay, so here it is. North America is the third largest continent by after Asia and Africa. It has already discussed. It covers an area of nearly 24 million square kilometer. We had already see in the chart that what is the area, exact area we had also discussed. From south to north, it extends from 7 degree northern latitude to 85 degree northern latitude, and east to west from 20 degree western longitude to 179 degree western longitude. In other words, its northern boundary is only about 500 km away from the North Pole, and its western boundary only 10 km away from the international date line. Okay, so if we go through, if you see, the northern pole is only 500 km away from its northern border, and the international date line is only 10 km away from its western part. Okay, the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle passes through the continent, and the 100 degree western longitude cuts through the center of the continent. Okay, so we can say that in North America continent is divided in two divided equally by 100 degree western longitude, and Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5 degree northern latitude, and Arctic Circle, that is 60 or 66 degree northern latitude. So these two circles passes through the North America continent. We have to keep it in mind. So several exams it has been asked, so we have to give it an answer, get by heart. Okay, this huge landmass includes three large countries. We had already discussed the Canada, United States of America, and the Mexico. Seven small states of Central America, and the landmass and the islands of the West Indies. The Atlantic, Pacific, and the Arctic Ocean surrounds North America in the east, west, and the north, respectively. We had already discussed the surroundings. In the northwest, the Bering Strait separates it from Asia, and in the southeast, the Isthmus of Panama joins it to the South America. North America has a smooth coastline except the existing in the northwest. There are five time zones. Okay, we will discuss it later in the map, and so that you can better understand. So as it had been separated from Asia by Bering Strait, we will see it in the map, and in the southeast, Isthmus of Panama, and joins to the South America. North America has a smooth coastline except for the existing in the northwest. Okay, so let's discuss. Here is a five time zone, and we can say politically and all these things. India has only one time zone, that is Indian Standard Time Zone, IST. Okay, IST, Indian Standard Time. It so here is we can say India has only time zone, one time zone. The country has officially observed Indian Standard Time since 1947 when India became free nation. It is following. However, the UTC, Universal Time Coordinate, plus 5 hour 30 minutes, that is also known as a 5.5 hour offset, has been used as a local standard time in India since 1906. India is observing its time zone since 1906, that is Universal Time Coordinate, UTC. Next, see regional divisions. First of all, we have to discuss. First of all, we have to, let's this one. In this picture, we will discuss. Here is the Bering Sea. Here is a Bering Sea and Bering Strait also, which separates Asia from North America. The next one is, here is the Panama Isthmus, which connects North America to South America, and here is smooth coastline in the west except in northeast. There is no, if see northeast, there is no smooth coastline is there. So that's why we have already discussed it, that smooth coastline. Next one is, see, here is the picture, we can go through. We will discuss it after reading this. Okay, so important mountain ranges in North America continent. So if you see important mountain ranges, the first one is Brooks Mountain Range. The next one is Alaska and Aleutian Mountain Range, Western Cordillera, Coast Mountains, and the Cascade Range, Sierra Nevada, Rockies Mountains. So we will see the location of these mountain ranges as we study. We will never gonna understand it. Okay, so let's talk about it. So here is the picture. So they see, here is the Brooks Mountain Ranges. Sorry, I have to change the color so that you can easily identify, and I think I should highlight these things. Okay, so in the yellow color, okay, yes, yellow color will be okay. Okay, see, here is the Brooks Mountain Ranges. Yellow is not getting darker, so we will use another one. Okay, so here it is. Here is the Brooks Mountain Range. Okay, next one is Alaska Mountain Range, McKinley Mountain Range. Here it is. Here is a Coastal Mountain Range. Thereafter Sierra Nevada. Thereafter Sierra Madre and Aleutian Mountain Range situated here. Okay, so we can see. Next becomes Brooks Range. Okay, located in northern Alaska. Northern Alaska. Alaska is a part of North America, which has been which USA. Sorry, Alaska is a part of USA. This is the territory belongs to USA, and it has been purchased from Russia. It was a time when Russia was the big enough to manage its territory. That's why Russia sold its territory to the USA, and thereafter it extends in the east-west direction and is a continuation of Rockies. Okay, so as we see in the picture, this is extends in northwest, and it's a extension of Rockies mountain range. So here is the Rockies mountain ranges. Okay, so let's read. Thereafter, the Alaska and Aleutian terminate. The Aleutian Islands are part of the Pacific mountain system. Mount McKinley is the highest peak. Mount McKinley is the highest peak, and it is situated in Alaska mountain ranges of North America in the Alaska range. Okay, the Western Cordillera. What is the Cordillera? Cordillera contains the meaning if the two or three mountain ranges are parallel to each other and they form like a cord that is cable, like rassi jaisa, then it is known as the Cordillera. Okay, they are made of three almost parallel ranges running north to south. Coastal mountain range. So Mount Logan 6050 meter in the Yukon Territory, Canada, is the second highest peak of North America. The third one is Cascade Ranges, east of the coast mountain, running from the North California to Washington. We had already seen in the picture, and we can you can rewind the video and go through that. Sierra Nevada, you can read this. Thereafter, Rocky Mountain, there is nothing special to talk about, but it will lies east of the Cascade Range and Sierra Nevada, running from Alaska to Mexico, and is over 4,000 meter, and it is the easternmost and is the highest range among the Western Cordillera. West of the Rockies lies a region of tableland, basin, canyons, and deserts. Okay, the next one is, and here is the picture we can see. In the picture you will see that this is the oceanic bottom, in which you will see there is also mountain lies in the ocean, and the part of the mountain which comes to the surface or comes over the surface of the ocean, known as the island, or the bigger landmass known as country. Okay, so let's see western region. What are the western region? Young mountains rise in the west. In the North America continent, you will see in the physical map that young mountains rises in the west. The most familiar of these mountains are probably of Rockies, North America's largest ten. They stretch from the province of British Columbia, Canada, to the U.S. state of New Mexico. Great Plains. Great Plains. Okay, first of all, let's see picture. It can be divided into three categories. The first one is Western Cordillera. Here it is Western Cordillera. The next one is Greater Plain or Central Lowlands. So Central Lowlands. Okay. The next one is comes Eastern Highlands. Okay. So here is the physical division. So Great Plains in the middle. Western region we had already discussed. Okay. Great Plains. In the middle of the continent lies the Great Plain. Deep rich soil blanket a large area of the plains in the Canada and the United States. Grain is grown Grain is grown in this region called the breadbasket of North America. We have to remember it that which part of the North America is known as the breadbasket. The central plains, or also known as the Great Plains. Okay, feed as a large part of the world. The Great Plains are also home of rich deposits of oil and natural gas. Okay, so oil and natural gas are also found here in the Great Plains. Thereafter comes Canadian Shield. What are the Canadian Shield? If you see in the picture, there is a formation of the physical formation, geographical formation, which forms like a shield. That's why it is called a Canadian Shield. Okay, the Canadian Shield rise but relatively flat plateau. It's a rise. It's a ये जो ओसनिक सी लेवल है जो है उससे तो ऊपर है, ऊंचा है, बट एक फ्लैट प्लेट्यू है. इट एक्सटेंड्स ओवर द ईस्टर्न सेंट्रल एंड द नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न कनाडा. The Canadian Shield is characterized by the rocky landscape walked by an astounding number of lakes. Okay, astounding number of lakes. If later you will see that a number of lakes are there, forming this geographical shape or features. Eastern regions. This varied region includes Appalachian Mountains and the Atlantic coastal plains. North America's older mountain ranges, including the Appalachian, rise near the east coast of the United States and Canada. This area has been mined for rich deposits of coal and other minerals of for 100 years. Okay, so here it is saying Appalachian mountain ranges are there, and it has a rich deposit of minerals and coals and other natural resources. Okay, next we see major physical divisions are there. The first one is Western Cordillera. Cordillera, why it is named as Cordillera, I had already discussed it. The next one is Central Lowlands. Here it is Central Lowlands. Okay, and the next one is Eastern Highlands. Here it is Eastern Highlands. Okay, you see Western Cordillera, Central Lowlands, or Eastern Highlands. Okay, next the Western Cordilleras, the parallel ranges of Young Fall Mountain. These mountains are formed due to the plate tectonics. When the Pacific belt, when the Pacific Pacific what is Pacific plates or the oceanic plates collide with North American, or we can say American plates from Alaska and extends into South America as the Andes. As we see in the picture, this here is a Western Cordillera, or we can see this is a mountain range. It starts from Alaska and extended to South America continents as a Andes. Here it is known as the Rockies in the North America, and thereafter in the South America it is known as the Andes. Okay, so we have to keep it remember in mind. Okay, as they resemble twisted cord, they are known as a cordillera. As we had already discussed, that these are cords, twisted in cords. Okay, these ranges are twisted in cords. That's why it is known as cordillera. Fold mountains are formed when tectonic plates. I have already told you that when tectonic plates puts the earth crust and force it to form ridges and valleys. Okay, volcanic rocks from the base of fold mountains. Okay, the Cordilleras are part of Pacific Ring of Fire. Cordilleras are part of Pacific Ring of Fire. Why it is known as the Pacific Ring of Fire? Why it is known as the Ring of Fire? Because it has the most active volcano forming a ring-like structure on the globe. Mount St. Helena is in the USA. Mount St. Helena is in USA. The snow-covered Cordilleras act as a barrier to moisture-laden winds and cause relief rainfall. Okay, so snow covered cordilleras are there, and as we will discuss it later that North America continent enjoys a variation in the climatic condition or climatic uh, seasons, because it lies in the western hemisphere and only 10 kilometer only 500 kilometer away from the pole. That's why it has a coldest weather also, and it is only 7 degree northern latitude in the south. That's why it also enjoy a very summer. We can be very hot summer. Okay, some of the rivers flow westwards, some of the eastwards, with the cordilleras acting as the water divide between them. So cordilleras plays a role of water divider, as some of the rivers flow westward and some of the river flow eastward. So that's why it is also known as the water divider. Rocky Mountains, Alaska Range, Cascade, Sierra Nevada, and the Sierra Madre are the chief ranges of the Western Cordilleras. We had already discussed in the map. The Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is the network of deep, narrow valley cuts into the dry Colorado plateau. Okay, Grand Canyon. What is the canyon? Canyon is the very deepest part formed by the rivers or any water bodies cutting mountain ranges. That is known the canyon, and the canyon is the part of like a structure like a gorge. Gorge is formed due to river due to the erosion of mountain. That's why it is known as the gorge, and the very used form of gorge is known as canyon. So the Old Faithful is a natural geyser, a hot water spout. The Old Faithful is a natural geyser. Once in every 90 minutes, the water from the geyser comes out roaring up 6 meter high. It's found in Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone National Park is situated in North America continent. It is a very important national park, and also Yellowstone rivers also flow. That's why it is known as the Yellowstone National Park, and it is known as the natural geyser because it has a hot weather. It has a current, oceanic current of hot waves, hot water. Okay, so here it is the central lowlands. This extends from around the Arctic shore and Hudson Bay. We will see in the map that where is the Arctic Sea and where is the Hudson Bay. So here is the Arctic Ocean and here is the Hudson Bay. So central lowlands are extending from Arctic bank and Hudson Bay. Okay, let's see. Arctic shores and Hudson Bay. to Gulf of Mexico. It also extends to Gulf of Mexico. Here is the Gulf of Mexico. So it extends from Arctic Azore to Hudson Bay to Gulf of Mexico like this. So here is the central lowlands. Okay, central lowlands. They are hemmed in by a cordilleras in the west and the highlands in the east. We had already seen on the map the cordillera in the west and highland in the east. Okay, in the west they are known as the high plains because the greater altitude. Okay, it has a greater altitude. That's why it is known as it has a greater altitude. It has a greater altitude in the west. That's why it is known as highland altitude in the highlands. And in the north, they form a Canadian shield. In the north, they form Canadian shield. We are already discussing the map where location of the Canadian shield also. The Canadian shield is a penny plain with the number of lakes. They are large enough to be called sea. There are a lot of lakes are situated in the Canadian Shield, and they are as large as a sea, and they can be named as a sea. As they are large enough to be called as sea. They are five Great Lakes. There are five Great Lakes. There also we can remember it by a trick that is H. Sorry, let me write this. It can be considered in sorry, homes. If you trick homes, so okay, so H stands for Huron, O stands for Ontario, M stands for Michigan, E stands for Erie, and S stands for Superior. Okay, so here is the some of five Great Lakes, and they are and these are big enough to be known as called as seas. Okay, so Winnipeg, Great Bear Lake, and Lake Tabaxo. Sorry, yeah, these are the Canadian lakes: Superior Lake, Michigan Lake, Huron Lake, Erie Lake, and Ontario Lake. So these are the lake, and these are the Greater Lake. They are known as Greater Lake. Okay. The next one is Lake Winnipeg, Greater Bear Lake, and the Lake Athabasca are also on the sorry, also on the Canadian Shield. South of the Canadian Shield, the central lowlands are covered with the layer of sediments brought by the glaciers and rivers. It is a very fertile region. Okay, as we know, the south of the Canadian Shield, the central lowlands slide and the covered with the layers of sediments brought by the glacier and rivers. From north, there is a Arctic Ocean is there, and which is also North Pole is there, which is a very cold region, and there are so many glaciers and the rivers flowing north to south, and that brings so many sediments and deposits its sediments to the north central lowlands or central plain or great plain, and these are the sediments brought by the rivers. That's why this is the very fertile, and it is very it's a good for agriculture. The next one is importance of the Great Lakes. Okay, what is the importance? So glacial lakes, these are the glacial lakes. Thereafter the largest freshwater system, and together they hold one fifth of the earth's surface freshwater, source of drinking water, irrigation, transport, sulfide, and iron mining in the periphery. Okay, so as we see, it holds approximately 20% of the earth's surface freshwater. How many fresh the amount of the amount available on the freshwater on the available freshwater on the earth? North America's Great Lakes hold 20% of that freshwater lake. So here is the picture in which we will you can see all these things. That is Bering Strait. Where is the Bering Sea, Chukchi Sea, Beaufort Sea, Baffin Sea, and all these things we will discuss this later while we will study about the water bodies of North America. But we can see here is the picture, that is Lake Superior, Lake Huron, Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, Lake Michigan. There are five Great Lakes here lies, and thereafter is the Great Bear Lake, Reindeer, and Slave Lake. All these things All these lakes are situated in Canada. You can go through. Thereafter, the Eastern Highlands. They are old fold mountains that stretch from the valley of River St. Lawrence to the southern USA. Eastern Highlands already we had seen in the map, and we can see here is the St. Lawrence River. Here is the St. Lawrence Gulf also. Okay, so we will discuss it later. See, they are not high or as continuous as the Cordilleras. Okay, they are not so high and not continuous. The highlands are known as also known as the Laurentian Highlands in the Canada and the Appalachian in the USA and are less than 200 meters in the height. Okay, so these are the Eastern Highlands and it is not so high and average heights is 200,000 meter, 2000 meter, and they are known as the Laurentian Highland in Canada and Appalachian in USA. Okay, there are eastern slopes facing the Atlantic Ocean are very steep, causing waterfalls in the stream that flow to the coast. Canadian Seal. The Canadian Seal is right already discussed. You can go through, pause the video, read this. You will definitely gonna understand this. Here is the picture in which Denmark state a lot of here is some of the pictures are there. Gulf and base. We will discuss it. Gulfs of North America. A Gulf of is a portion of ocean. What is the Gulf? Gulf is a portion of ocean that penetrates land which is of very large in size, shape, and depth. They are generally larger and more deeply intended than bays and often makes excellent harbors. Many important trading centers are located on the Gulf. Okay, so what is the difference between Gulf and Bay? Gulf are larger in size and deeper in depth. So bays are not so depth and not so bigger, and it has not. It is not a excellent harbor. It is not good for excellent harbor making excellent harbor because harbor requires a depth, not shallow depth, so that ships and cargo ships and all these boats can move easily. Of huge or we can say the very big ships can move easily without any hindrance. Importance of trading centers. Okay, the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of Alaska, Gulf of California, St. Lawrence. These all had. Let's have a look. Here is the Gulf of Alaska near Alaska region. Here is the Gulf of Mexico near Mexico. Here is the Hudson Bay. Here is the Davis Strait or Davis Sea. Here is the Baffin Sea. Here is the Arctic Ocean. Okay, so let's discuss. Gulf of Mexico. It is an important economic site for three countries and surrounded by the United States, Mexico, and the island nation of the Cuba. As one of the biggest gulfs, it has a coastline of 5,000 kilometers. So it is the biggest. And here is the some of the picture of sea and ocean. Beaufort Sea, situated in north of Canada, Arctic Ocean, Gulf of Bhutia. So you can go through. We will discuss in detailed form. Okay, here is the picture in which we will you can go through all these things. So it is enough for today. We will discuss this later.